Well, in the main, he was always a rough official. See, any lad could say, "Well, Charlie, I get on this morning. That's about. Take it on with your work." Right. That's got a bit of tobacco. I'll give you a bit when I come back. Right. Next day would come. There was me a bit of tobacco, they knows, Charlie. I'll give you a bit. Well, I want a bit after before they goes now. Okay. Right. And then Charlie would go on his work, and somebody would turn around and get him and do some trick on him. You know.
Yeah. What sort of trick?
Do a sort of trick on him, telling him, go such a place. Go in number 2. I think they'll want me in there, Charlie. Charlie being on number 2 and there'll be nothing up. See?
Yeah.
Now, this is the time when all the colliery was grouped before wages were paid through the office. Before the agreement was drawn up with the trade unions to pay through the office, all the groups that worked different faces and different men who had different contracts were grouped together and paid through like one man called the butty. You see. And it is a very poor system, a very poor system. And you would go, when you came up the pit, you would go to this, where's George Lowton? Oh, I'm working at Lowton. Oh, he's so-and-so, so-and-so. Oh, go there, he's paying out there. That'd be about 6 or 7 men. You see, well, the same thing applied to all the men there at Parkhouse at that time, you see, and men were paid out like that. Of course, later on, they paid them through the office.
About when? What date?
They paid all the men their wages through the office. They would say, like, they would have the names on an envelope, and they'd shout the names and give them their money through the office, instead of paying them out in little groups and allowing any Tom, Dick and Harry to pay them out. You see.
Yeah.
That eventually came, but I think Parkhouse was about the last bit to pay them through the office too, because they were paying them through the office at Brimbo. At whole Parkhouse.
Were you a union man, Mr. Warburton?
Yeah.
How did the union men treat people like Mr. Brown? I mean, he wasn't in your union, presumably.
Oh no, it was more or less in the officials' union. And I think he got on fairly well with the trade union men, up to a point. I mean to say, when it came to anything like that needed some definite action, well, of course, Charlie, being the official, would be on the official side and would just take that view.
Yes.
But I don't know that he got in any bother with representation of the officials through to the representation of the miners. I couldn't say that.
Did the men admire him as a sort of self-made man?
Charlie Van? Yes, oh yes. I should say he was. I don't know whether you saw his paintings up there.
Seen an awful lot of them, yes.
Well, that was the type of man he was, as far as I knew. See? Probably a man like Samson Leach could tell you more about him.
Samson Leach?
Aye.
Yes, I've got to see him.
Aye.
Yes.
Yeah. That was 1935, I should say. I'm talking about now, when they paid them in groups.
Yes.
You see. I don't know anymore. I don't know
What sort of What sort of day would a man like Mr. Brown have? What would his work consist of when he got to the pit? What would he do, you know?
Well, he had got his under manager's certificate,
Mm-hmm.
but he wasn't an under manager officially, but he was a man between, we call him an overman,
Yes.
between the firemen, and went to see that, examine roadways and see that things were put right. You know what I mean? From the fireman's point of view. You see, I don't ever remember him being a fireman, don't ever remember him being an under manager, but he was like an overman.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And what did the overman do?
Well, that's what they're responsible for, seeing that the firemen did the work to be correct,
Mm-hmm.
and other things as well, like participating to the ordinary workmen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But this buddy system was a bad system.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked there when they've stood there, over you, watched you, shoveling, and that they straightened you back and say, hey, is that spade getting to what?
Mm.
See?
Mm.
And that's the type. That was what it was then. Of course, it's been altered since then.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
When did the buddy system go out?
I should say through somewhere around 1935 to 1938.
Mm. And was the buddy chief, one of the men, or was he sort of separate from them?
No, he was one of the men picked by the officials
By the officials?
to see that these men did the work, and he got paid so much per day more than the ordinary workman.
Oh, I see.
And they only watched them work.
And then he divided the money out
And yes, when they were grouping.
in a pub?
Well, possibly when they were grouped on the pit bank on Friday,
Oh, I
you
see.
see, until they paid them through the office, paid them all through the office, you know.
Mm. What, he just meet them on the pit bank and work out how much each of them had?
Aye, that was the idea.
Mm. Were the buddies disliked by the men, by the gang?
When what?
Were the buddies disliked by the gang?
In some cases, yes.
Mm.
In some cases, yes. Yes.
Well, did the men know that Mr. Brown painted?
Well, he was pretty well known. A lot of them knew that he painted, and a lot of them weren't interested in his work. You know what I mean?
Mm. Mm. Did you ever see one of his exhibitions when they hung them up?
I wasn't lucky enough to do that, no, but I have seen his paintings through old Mr. Bill Smith when I lived up the harbour, the next street above, and he lived next door to me, and he frequently visited old Bill Smith because Bill Smith was just an amateurish painter.
Is Bill Smith still there?
No, he's dead.
Oh.
He's dead.
Well, that's good, Mr. Warburton. Well, you're taking your rest now, eh?
Yes, that's as much as I can tell you. I don't know anymore. Hadn't Mr. Hampton been living, he'd have told you more.
This place is... Have you lived here all your life, this
Yes, I
part?
have.
Changed a lot?
Pardon?
Has it changed a lot?
No, it's only just beginning to change now.
Is it?
Aye, it's only just beginning to change. Like there was the old North Stafford Colliery, what they call the Talketh Hill Colliery. There was the Jammage Colliery across the fields. And of course Talketh Hill Colliery had its own chemical plant. And there was the life and soul of the work for 3 or 4 villages like this up to Butt Lane, you see, until it closed down in 1928, you see. And then now nearly everybody has to go to work by bus, you see.
Yeah.
But now they've just finished built the village hall, and they're having various dues to pay for it, about £12,000. What was one thing and then the other, they're having various dues, and it's becoming live again after a good many years that was sort of dead, sort of thing.
Mm.
Now there is talk of small industries creeping up on a site scheduled for factory. But of course when, I don't know.
In the old days, did the miners walk across the fields to work?
Yes,
And they all lived in the village?
yes.
Was the social life much different?
No, mostly like the ordinary chapel and the pub,
Uh-huh.
you see. Oh, I may say this, in regard to my young life. I was in the Talktown Melbourne Choir. I was soloist, baritone soloist for a good few years in the Talktown Melbourne Choir.
Mm.
And we were lucky enough, I think I'm the only one now at the moment, who was a Sentinel Cup competition for football and also a medal for being in the choir, winning the Welsh National competition at Wrexham in 1933.
Oh, that was good, wasn't it?
Yeah. I've got it to this day. And the Dogdale Millwall Choir was going, giving concerts. I should say more musical now in regard to the standard rate of music than what we think of as pops.
Mm.
You see what I mean? A real good choir. Competed at Blackpool. Oh, ever so many times at Blackpool. Blackpool High Centre. Hazel Grove. Down in what do you call that place? I just forgot for the moment. In various places, and that was more or less the life of talk then.
Mm. Mm.
Aye.
Must be funny to come across the generations like that. Do you think the modern pop stuff and everything's a load of rubbish compared with what you were doing then?
Well, the point is, if we're going to study it by merit, we've got to learn our parts in the choir, all the parts. And it's more meritorious to learn your part and sing it in combination than just sing an ordinary pop stuff with one verse. You see, that's my way of thinking. You take the baritone line, you take the second tenor line, top tenor line and bass line. Well, all the members of the choir have got to learn their own parts, especially when they take in competition, you see. It's more meritorious to learn that than to sing pops. Do you see my meaning?
Yes. What sort of songs did you sing?
What sort did we? Real good part songs like Crossing the Plain, Martyrs of the Arena, Up with the Jolly Roger, Up with the Jolly Roger, let me think, Crossing the Plain, Martyrs of the Arena, the Syrian came down. And then of course we mixed it with ordinary Scottish Celtic songs, till all acquaintance be forgotten, all that, We mixed it. And we did win our competition to Wrexham under Sir Hugh Warburton, the celebrated Scottish composer and conductor.
But he conducted you as a guest, did he?
He conducted us when we won.
Yeah.
It happened to be that Lloyd George was there, and also Alan Swaffer time. Yes, and Hugh Robertson conducted us after the competition when we knew we'd won. That was in 1933.
When Mr. Brown came to work in the bus from Etruria, would he just mingle with the ordinary miners? I mean, there wasn't any sort of there's the boss sort of style with an overman, was there?
Yes, he would mingle. He would mingle, yes, he would mingle. Yes.
But he had to be careful not to be too familiar, tell
That's
you.
quite true. That's
Yeah.
quite true. That was in that day, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the whole, do you think he kept the balance?
Yes, I think he kept the balance up to a point, but well, as I say, in regard to the job he was doing, yes, I think he did.
Mm.